You know that feeling when you make a choice and you're totally confident about it, but then later you're like, wait, why did I really pick that? Well, it turns out a lot of our choices aren't actually our own. Nope, they're often cleverly designed for us. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly how it's done. All right, so to really get how this works, I've got a little puzzle for you. It's a simple choice I want you to make. Ready? Okay, picture this. You're at a concession stand, maybe at the movies or a game. You've got two soda options, a small for $1 or a large for $2. Pretty simple, right? Which one are you grabbing?
Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward decision, right? I mean, some of you might go for the small to save $1. Others might be super thirsty and think, hey, the large is a decent value. It's really just about what you want in that moment. But what happens if we throw a little wrench in the works? What if we add a third option?
Okay, now look at this. A medium soda has been added for $3. Wait, what? Suddenly, that $2 large soda looks like an amazing deal, doesn't it? It's bigger than the medium and a whole dollar cheaper. Your brain just instantly goes, nope, that medium is a total ripoff, and you're drawn right to the large one. That weird, terrible middle option, that, my friends, is what we call a decoy. So, what you just felt right there, that little mental push, that is a super powerful cognitive bias, and it's got a name. Let's break down exactly what it is and how it works.
Yeah, this quote really nails it. A decoy isn't meant to be picked. It's only there for one reason, to make one of the other options look way, way better.
So the official name for this is the decoy effect. You might also hear it called the asymmetric dominance effect, which sounds super technical, I know, but asymmetrically dominated just means the decoy is obviously worse than one of the other options, that's the target option, but maybe not obviously worse than the other one. Its entire job is to make that target option look like a rock star.
And this isn't just about sodas, not by a long shot. This little psychological trick is used absolutely everywhere. From the phone in your pocket to the subscriptions you pay for, let's dig into some real-world examples so you can see it in action.
Okay, so let's say you're shopping for a new smartphone, and you're trying to do that classic balancing act between price and how much storage you get. So you've narrowed it down to two. You got phone A, more storage, but it costs more. Then there's phone B, saves you some cash, but you get less storage. It's that classic dilemma, right? Features versus cost. You know, this can be a really tough call. It just depends on what you value more. But watch what happens when a third phone suddenly appears. Okay, now look at phone C. This is where it gets interesting. It's more expensive than phone A, but it has less storage. I mean, what? It is an objectively terrible deal compared to phone A. Nobody in their right mind would choose it. But just by being there, it makes phone A, the target, look like an absolutely fantastic value. All of a sudden, that tough decision feels, well, kind of easy. And this isn't just some made-up example. Not at all. One of the most famous real-world cases of this comes from The Economist magazine. Okay, get this. These were their actual subscription options. You could get web-only for $59, you could get print-only for $125, or you could get the print and web combo for, wait for it, also $125. That print-only option looks completely insane, right? Why on earth would anyone choose it when you can get both print and web for the exact same price? Bingo, that's your decoy. So a researcher named Dan Ariely actually tested this on his students, and the results were staggering. With that weird decoy option there, a whopping 84% chose the most expensive print and web combo. Only 16% went for the cheapest option, and of course, absolutely nobody chose the decoy. But here's the kicker. This is the really mind-blowing part. Ariely ran the test again, but this time he took out that useless print-only decoy. And guess what? The results completely flipped. Now, 68% of people chose the cheaper web-only option, and only 32% went for the combo. That one single useless option completely changed how people saw the value and pushed them toward the more expensive product. Crazy, right? So the results speak for themselves. This thing clearly works. But why? What is going on in our brains that makes this one little trick so powerful?
Well, it all boils down to one simple thing. Our brains are lazy. Just kidding. Well, kinda. It's really about justification. See, our brains hate tough decisions and uncertainty. We don't like weighing complex trade-offs like price versus quality. We just want to feel good and confident about our choice.
The decoy gives us a shortcut. It creates a super easy comparison where one option, the target, is the obvious winner over the decoy. Our brain sees that easy win, latches onto it, and that feeling of, oh, that's a great deal, makes the target seem like the best choice overall.
Okay, so now you know the secret. You know how the trick works, which means you can start to spot it out in the wild. So let's talk about how you can recognize it and become a much smarter shopper. This trick is most powerful under a few specific conditions. First, it works best when you're already kind of torn between two pretty good options. Second, it's super effective when there are a bunch of different features to compare, like price and quality and size. And third, the decoy has to be clearly worse than the target, making that comparison a no-brainer. So be on the lookout for that weird third wheel option that just doesn't seem to make any logical sense. Because at the end of the day, that's the whole point. As David Robson for the BBC put it so perfectly, it's simply the trick that makes you overspend. It's a carefully crafted nudge to get you to open your wallet a little wider than you originally planned. So from now on, when you see a set of 3 options, especially if one of them looks a little off, just pause for a second. Mentally remove that weird one, the decoy. Then just compare the 2 real contenders on their own merits. Once you understand this hidden force, you can take back control and make sure the choice you make is actually your choice. So the question is, what are you going to look out for next time you're shopping?